My 23 female, husband's sister, passed away unexpectedly. She left behind 2 kids, Rose nearly adult, and Lily pre-tween. My husband, 26, and I live on the East Coast. My husband's only other family is his mom, who lives in her boyfriend's small house. She's retired and doesn't make much. They don't have much room and can't afford 2 kids. The older girl, Rose, plans on sleeping on their couch till she goes off to college next year. That leaves Lily. Lily's staying with them for now, but my mother-in-law really can't care for her long term for many reasons. Mother-in-law's boyfriend also said he wants her out of his house. So my husband and his mom want us to take Lily so she doesn't go into foster care. I'm pretty against this for many reasons. My husband is not responsible enough to be a parent. He cooks maybe 2 to 3 times a year, and when he's not cooking, he usually just wants to play video games or relax. He's in the military, and he deploys once a year-ish for 6 months. I'm not willing to take care for a child that isn't even related to me alone for that long. I have other responsibilities. He often works 12 to 16-hour days when he isn't deployed. He also works the night shift and sleeps during the day, and then he goes out of town for work often. If we took Lily in, I would make sacrifices to care for her, not my husband, and I'd have to be her sole caretaker. I don't even want kids, and I don't think it's fair to expect me to basically adopt a child I've never met and am not even related to. She also has ADHD and some extreme behavioral issues, and he doesn't want to be a single parent, and he doesn't want to get divorced. I suggested I leave and he take her in, and he said no. Am I the idiot for not wanting to take in my husband's niece and being okay with her going into foster care? Not the idiot. Your husband needs to get off his moral high horse. He doesn't contribute any parenting work, expects you to do all the parenting stuff, and wants all the praise for being the stand-up uncle who raised his niece. You need to set clear boundaries and call him out on his BS. He's asking you to sacrifice your whole life and break your premarital agreement, child-free, so his family could benefit from it. He's incredibly selfish, and you need to reevaluate your relationship if he refuses to respect your perspectives. Wow, so you're okay with abandoning an orphan to a system rampant with abuse and neglect. Everyone is being an absolute idiot to this poor child. All of you sound selfish. Seems like mother-in-law is guilting your husband. If she's retired, she's in an excellent position to care for Lily. I am by no means an expert, but I believe Lily would qualify for benefits. It's so sad if Lily has to go into foster care when she still has family who can take her in. They just don't want to. And you are the idiot for insisting you aren't related to this girl. Easy for you to say OP sucks, since you don't have to do all the work. Her husband is a deadbeat husband who doesn't contribute to parenting and expects the wife to do all the work. Her mother-in-law and mother-in-law's boyfriend conveniently decided not to take care of their granddaughter, so OP must now do all the work that she didn't sign up for. How's it fair to call her an idiot when she clearly agreed to have a child-free marriage? Of all parties, OP's husband is probably the biggest idiot and a hypocrite. Exactly. People who don't want children and taking children just to treat them with resentment is a horrible idea. It's not being an idiot to know you won't be a good parent. I also understand OP not being emotionally ready to take responsibility of husband's niece. OP, you are not the idiot. I would feel the same as you if my husband wanted to take in a child but wouldn't be home to look after said child, leaving all the hard slog of parenting to me. If your husband wants to adopt his niece, he should be working with his command and planning to have military service at the end of his service obligation, or sooner, if his command will support voluntary separation. He should be making a plan to be the primary parent. You should not be his plan. Your husband needs a reality check. My stepsister is engaged to Alex, and I'm engaged to Nick, who's Alex's older brother. I dated Nick first and for a long time, but we broke up 3 years ago, and my stepsister started dating Alex after our breakup. They got engaged last year, and my stepsister was trying to shove our families together, which meant I started seeing Nick again, and we reconnected. We got engaged 2 months ago, and ever since, my stepsister has been complaining nonstop about how she thinks I rushed into an engagement just to upstage her, and that she doesn't want to have the same in-laws as me, as I would screw things up for us both. It's not like I can magically give Nick a new family, so I don't get why she keeps bringing it up. But it's annoying, and I've asked her to drop it multiple times already. She even complains in front of our future in-laws, which I feel like she only does since things are still rocky between me and them. The last time she brought it up in front of them, I suggested she cancel her wedding, which only triggered her more. And now she's convinced that I only got engaged as some big master plan to mess up her engagement, which is dumb. She's been telling everybody, and some of our family are starting to believe her because I told her to cancel her wedding. Alex, who I was close to, was also mad at me because she convinced him I was being serious. Am I the idiot? So why was she so determined to jam your families together? Was it so you would see she won the in-laws over you? I mean, I'm having a hard time calling you the idiot only because I absolutely would have said, well, if you don't like it, you can cancel your wedding. LOL. Besides, she kept poking you about it. Have you tried asking her exactly what she expects to happen? Because it sounds to me like she wants you to cancel your wedding. So it only seems fair that you would say it to her too. She's being an absolute child about this, and it sounds like she's ruining your relationship with your in-laws even further. So I'm sure she's an idiot. She even complains in front of our future in-laws, which I feel like she only does since things are still rocky between me and them. This has been grossly overlooked. Why are things still rocky with the future in-laws? What was the cause of the breakup in the first place? Learn to be sincerely polite, and anytime your stepsis brings it up, in the most sincere voice say, "Sis, I'm really sorry you feel that way." Say nothing else. Do not engage. Refrain from explaining. Do not argue. Do not complain. Do not use snark. Stop giving her ammo. Yeah, OP is an unreliable narrator and isn't giving us the full picture. She's not disclosing why they broke up and why things are rocky with the in-laws, because she probably put the boy through a nightmare. If she cheated or abused or kept him on the hook while continuing to cheat, I can see why the family hates her and why it puts strain on the sister, because it's because of her that she's back in the brother's life. Everyone who's saying OP's not the idiot is overlooking this. Everyone's the idiot here. Sorry. If you both are old enough to be getting married, you should act like the adults you are. Put the petty competition stuff aside and get used to one family intertwined. Otherwise, you're just going to keep running into these snags. She got pregnant while I was pregnant to upstage me. Is in your future if you can't squash this now. Grow up. My 29 female husband, 30, grew up with a family with similar amounts of money as mine. Still, I grew up solidly blue-collar/middle class. My dad was a boat repairman with all my uncles. In contrast, my husband grew up in a more white-collar world, playing polo, sailing, owning horses, etc. We had a vacation home in a small beach town where we spent our whole summers, while my husband's family spent 2 weeks each summer in the Hamptons. Our families just spent their money differently. We are still about in the same bracket, but act differently. My husband's family occasionally visits us since we own a home with a guest room. They're nice but very different. For example, their homes are immaculate, nothing ever out of place, and they move very deliberately with everything they do. I'm not dirty at all, but will sometimes leave out books I'm reading for a few days and have more clutter. And they don't swear, ever. I will swear if the situation warrants it, but never like at someone, more like when telling a story. They're more uptight, which makes it hard for me to be totally authentic with them. They also judge me when I'm not the same as them. For example, they show up unannounced to drop in. I'm like, Sorry it's a little messy. We didn't know you were coming. They look around and say, yeah, I see that. Or when they met my parents and my dad dropped a few F-bombs at my parents' house and he had a few beers in him. They were shocked and clearly uncomfortable. Some dirt gets on the floor from someone's boots and I don't pick it up right away. Someone's pointing it out to me instead of just waiting 5 minutes until I'm finished with what I'm doing. Even cooking is different. My family's from Spain, so we make, in my opinion, amazing food and go all out and don't worry about cleaning until after. They make very safe meals, like pasta, very carefully and never let anything drip out of the saucepan. Everything is moderated. My mother-in-law recently asked if she could stay with us for a month. I like my mother-in-law and don't mind her staying with us occasionally. Still, I always need to do a deep clean, be super careful of any messes while she's here, speak in lower tones, and never swear. I can only show so much of myself and always need to be careful. I can't do that for a month. I told my husband no, and he got upset. He said I'm more open with my family, and I should open up to his family. I told him I couldn't because they say they want to be close, but then judge me every time I do something less classy than them or act differently. He told me I needed to just ignore them and be myself and allow them to come over. I refused. He's angry, and now we're at a stalemate. Am I the idiot? I'm sorry, this isn't a class issue when you grew up privileged enough to have a vacation home you lived in all summer. His family's uptight, yours isn't. That's the drama. Cease and desist all claims of being blue collar. You are the idiot, OP. This is a good way for them to decide if they really want a closer relationship. Let them come and be yourself. She doesn't like the mud the boots tracked in? Here's the broom. Wants to clean the kitchen before eating? We'll be eating. Has a judgy look on her face? Ask if there's a problem. She'll either start relaxing or she won't. Either way, you get to keep living your best life. Absolutely this. When someone stays longer than a few days, there's no need to play host and change how you live your life to suit the guest. OP, you would be doing your mother-in-law a favor by letting her stay for so long. If anything, she should be making it up to you by helping out around the house. If she doesn't like a little bit of dirt on the floor when it doesn't bother you, tell her she can sweep it up herself. If she says anything about books or other objects being out of place, tell her you want it left out for right now. If she makes any comments about your demeanor, tell her you're free to be yourself in your home, and if your personality bothers her, she can pay to stay somewhere else where she can't be affected by it. I agree with this, except that it's for a month. I have a difficult relationship with my own narcissistic mother, and this is how I feel just having her over for dinner. I can take the comments for that amount of time, and that's my limit. I think a month is a very unreasonable expectation. Your comment would be great for a weekend if her husband is on board to back her up. I love giving mother-in-law the broom. Not the idiot. By the way, it's not classy to drop by unannounced. Their cultured upper-class ways may be only so much pretense. I, female 25, own my house. Not outright. I have a mortgage. My partner, male 27, has been renting his current property for nearly 2 years with a 2-year fixed tenancy agreement. So we've been together for 3 years. He's recently been making little comments about having money issues, nothing direct, but I felt like he was definitely hinting at moving in. For example, he said that though he isn't struggling to pay the rent or the rest of his bills, he cannot indulge in his hobbies. As we've been together for a while, and it felt like the natural next step, and felt like that's what he was hinting at, I suggested he move in with me. We agreed that, as he isn't gaining any equity in my house, he won't contribute to the mortgage, but he'll split all utilities with me equally. So we'll be saving quite a lot of money monthly. Now, the letting agency has told him that he must pay an early termination fee as he'll leave his tenancy 3 months early. The cost is around £600. He asked me to pay half of it today and blew up at me when I said no. My reasoning was he would be saving money in the long run by moving in with me anyway. I'm covering the cost of my property, so he should be covering the cost of his. I don't see this as a joint bill. He thinks I'm an idiot because I asked him to move in, so I'm why he's leaving his tenancy early anyway, so I should be responsible for half of it. When I told him he could stay at his and move in with me when his tenancy ended, and therefore would not be required to pay the fee, he got even angrier and said I was showing my true colors and didn't actually want him to move in with me or have an equal partnership. Unsure if it's important, but for clarification, he has enough in his savings account to cover the whole fee. I have about double what he has in savings. He's aware of this, as I've loaned him money from my savings before. I don't think I'm the idiot, if I'm being honest, but he certainly does so. Not the idiot, and if you have any sense, you'll cancel your offer and not let him move in. He's already feeling entitled to your money. He'll be living rent-free at your expense. He's only offered half utilities, which is not enough. And he also wanted to move in, yet he's somehow spinning this as some huge favor he's doing you? The hell with him. His meanness over this $300 just cost him a rent-free home. And as you say, this is his bill, not yours. So you basically offered him a deal where he gets free rent and only has to split utilities, and he's whining that he'll have to fork out 300 pounds to get out of his current lease? Do you really want to share a house with someone like that? It's a huge red flag. You are the idiot if you roll over and let him freeload off of you. His behavior is a warning of what will come every time you don't agree with what he wants. Consider carefully if you want to live with a man who blows up at you when you don't follow his orders. My boyfriend, 23, just moved in with me, 23 female, a week ago, cross-country from our same home state. I moved at the beginning of January, and he recently found a job and moved here, leaving all his family and friends in the home state. But I made it very clear not to move just for me, only if it's what he wants. Well, my boyfriend loves playing video games and playing with his home friends, and I understand he's far away and he misses them, but he plays from 3 p.m. to midnight almost every day, leaving no time for us to hang out. My birthday recently happened, and he asked to play video games that day. I was shocked and upset and went for a walk by myself. He ended up playing video games for hours on my birthday and didn't plan anything for me, didn't get me flowers or even a cake. The next morning, I felt he was talking bad about me to his friends' group chat, which I knew they had done before. So the morning after my birthday, I checked his phone. He accused me of guilt-tripping him into spending time with me because it was my birthday, when he clearly didn't want to hang out with me. I've never gone on his phone before. I felt very guilty and later apologized. I'm not sure if the fact he didn't want to spend time with me, even on my birthday, hurts the most, or that he sees hanging out with me as so miserable and annoying. I brought this up to him and he just got mad that I went on his phone and refused to talk. I've asked multiple times and he keeps saying no. I want to work this out, but I feel like not even acknowledging or apologizing for speaking badly about me behind my back shows that he doesn't really care. I'm giving him one more day to be mad, and if he refuses to talk, I'm asking him to move out. It was my apartment first, and he's only paid the $70 application fee. No rent, water, or electricity yet. Am I the idiot for telling him to move out and leave after he just moved cross-country for me? Edit. I do most of the housework. I cleaned the entire apartment by myself today while he was out golfing. So, in addition to the excessive amount of gaming he does, he also takes time to golf, but has no time for your B-day? Give me a chair. You are not a girlfriend. You are a mother. He's essentially getting a free ride to work and play games. He's earning and presumably saving all his money while you slowly go broke. You need to answer for yourself whether you want this future. Golf? On top of everything else? Jesus! Not the idiot, but are you sure he moved in to be with you? Or because it's easier than finding his own place? Sounds like he's waiting for something better to come along, and he doesn't care about the relationship. If he did, He wouldn't spend all evening playing games, at least not immediately. He plays 9 hours of video games almost every day? Like 9 hours? That's absurd. He literally works, sleeps, has friends, and has video games. There is zero room for OP anywhere in that life. Ask him to move out and dump him while you're at it. He's showing you where his priorities lie. Believe him when he says, it's not you.